Near Mint Condition, the home of collected edition.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves.
Hey everyone, Amazing Amanda here, and today I'm going to be doing an overview of Rifters from Image Comics. And if you were thinking, who could Omar get to do an overview of a book by Joe Trohman from Fall Out Boy? Of course he's going to pick me, so stay tuned. Welcome back everyone, and a big thank you to Image Comics again for giving us this copy of Rifters for us to review. So for those who are not familiar with the comic, Rifters is a comic book from the comedian Brian Posehn and lead guitarist of Fall Out Boy. And of course, when Omar got this book and knew we needed an overview of it, I definitely had to be the one to do it. I asked him if I could do a review of this book because I know I will be completely objective about everything about this book. It doesn't matter if Joe Trohman is one of the authors because I'm going to be a completely objective person in this review. No, but kidding. It is a great book. So the premise of this book is what would happen if time travel actually became a reality in our society? And how would we approach using that technology? Would it be in an ethical, logical way, or would people try to take advantage of it? And obviously, given the satirical works of someone like Brian Posehn, I think you can kind of get an idea of how this is going to be written. It is full of jokes. It is full of very hyperbolic language. And it just gives you a look at these two time cops, essentially, who are supposed to follow these criminals who are going through time doing time crimes, right? And so it takes a look at what would happen if our society, our government got a hold of this technology created by someone who very really looks like or acts like a Mark Zuckerberg of our generation. You see the president taking advantage of the time travel by going back in time and investing in said company that makes the time travel so he can become rich. Because I don't think there's anyone in the government who wouldn't take advantage of that in this day and age. And it also takes a look at how once it's made available to just the common people, what that looks like. You have time travel, destinations and tourist attractions, things like that, and what happens along the way. And so the main characters, Fenton and Geller, it's essentially like a Lethal Weapon, Bad Boys, buddy cop duo type of story where they have been sent back in time to capture these time cops. And in the midst of doing so, they now have been kind of placed on this path of trying to locate a serial killer going through time and killing people throughout time. And so the main premise of the story is them trying to figure out who this is, why this is taking place. And then, of course, this leads to a lot of situations for them, as well as some revelations about the organization they work for and also about the society that they live in today. And it is a really funny and comedic look at the situation. There are some definitely high stakes moments throughout the comic book, but again, it never loses that satirical touch throughout the entire book itself. And we also have to talk about the artwork because the artwork is done by someone named Chris Johnson, who, according to Brian Posehn's foreword, he basically works for Earth 2, which is a comic book store in LA, and they asked him to do this after him and Joe decided to work together. They asked him if he would be the artist for this graphic novel, and he went and agreed. And as far as I can see, he hasn't done anything before this, but the artwork in it is very detailed and very realistic and very well done. I mean, I like a lot of the lines. I like the way the pages are laid out, and it helps tell the story, especially because the story is full of action and very action-packed, which when you're dealing with that in a comic book format can be very difficult to portray and really get across. But in this one, it has that very cinematic feel with the way everything is laid out. So kudos to Chris Johnson on that because it is a very well done book from the artistic standpoint. But yeah, overall, if you are interested in a little fun time travel with some, Lethal Weapon type of, buddy cop back and forth. And if you're a fan of like Brian Posehn, or if you're like me, a fan of Fallout Boy, I highly recommend that you check out Rifters. So if you're interested in purchasing this book, it does retail for $16.99. And like I said, it just came out in May. It is 192 pages, and you can purchase it at our sponsor.
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
So that was my overview of Rifters, everyone. Again, a big thank you to Image Comics for giving us this book to review. And let me know in the comments what you think. If you've read this comic, what you think of the comic itself. If you're a fan of Brian Posehn, if you want to see more by him. And yeah, if you're watching, Joe Trohman, would love to have you on the show. I already have Pete on, so it would be great to interview you about your comic book. Okay. Hey everyone, Amazing Amanda here, and today I'm going to be doing an overview of the book Rifters by, nope, not by, from, yeah, now I'm laughing about it. Okay. All right. Joe Trohman from Fallout Boy, one of my favorite my favorite band in the entire world. So when Omar had gotten the book and said, I need someone to do a review of this book, I couldn't think of anyone better than myself to give you a... in May. So it is a fairly new book. So if you're interested in purchase, nope, why am I even starting like that? Why would I do that? Big thank you again to Image Comics. Really appreciate you lending us this book to, nope, not lending. We're not giving it. One more time. I'm so sorry. Okay. Woo! And it just kind of travels amongst, no, why did I say travel? It follows. It follows. Okay. So the premise of this book is what would happen if time travel actually became a reality in our time life. Nope, time lives. It's not the word I'm looking for. All right. Welcome back, everyone. And nope. Hey, everyone. Amazing Amanda here. And today... Okay. If you're watching, Joe Trohman, would love to have you on the show. I already have Pete on, so it would be great to interview you about your comic book properties too. That's not the word I wanted to say.
I'm keeping it.